Hey everyone, it's Carrie from Garden Rudiments. Thank you for visiting my channel today. If you're new, I hope you'll stop by again. And if you've been following me for a while, thank you for sticking with me. It's been a rough kind of 2 months, but I'm glad to be back out making videos, and I'm glad to be taking care of my fountain. So watch me as we put together this succulent fountain. Just running behind, but today we're going to plant the first 2 tiers of this fountain. So I'm going to loosen up the soil on top and then go ahead and I'm going to plant this like a mat. I do have around where the water drains out of this, I do have hardware cloth. Same thing, my husband drilled drainage holes in all of this for me. And I have hardware cloth over it to prevent my soil from draining through and stopping it up. So you can see, I did go get my snips. So this is the front. This side will be the front. So I'm just going to let the roots continue on as they are and just fill in here on top. And they'll go right through that mesh and continue to grow. And I will water this a little bit more than I do the others. But I want it to spread and go ahead and cover and just kind of hang over this top part. And it's very hardy. It will spread a lot and just fill in this whole part as long as I keep it watered and give it a little feed. I think that's going to look pretty as a top centerpiece. There. Now it'll be nice and full. So these are simps that have been in here all winter. And I'm just going to loosen this up. And I do need to add some fresh soil because it's a little low in places. But I've gotten several simps from Mountain Crest Gardens that's come in my monthly subscription, and I know we haven't. We were on vacation when I got in April's, and I let my cousin take care of it for me and get them out of the box and water them so that they were taken care of while we were gone. And then for May, let me tell you what's been going on in May. So as you know, my profession is a photographer. That's what I do for a living. And I have photographed well over 1,000 kids this May. Now, usually in May, I am not that busy, but it just so happened that I happened to get a new baseball and softball league in another town. I didn't photograph this one league last year, but they did call me for this year's photographs, so I had those. So, and then I do a daycare every year at this time. So that was well over 1,000 kids, baseball and softball photos. And then the daycare, and then I also had a wedding that I shot. So all of that is a whole lot of work, a whole lot of editing, and that's how I make money, so I had to get that done. And then, in the middle of baseball photos, I come down with strep and laryngitis. I was okay on the first night, and because it was on a Friday night, and then I had to come back on a Monday, and that's when it started. And I just got worse and worse all day on that Monday. And I had to take photos through Wednesday night. So my husband had to go with me and do all the talking, and I stayed away from the kids. You know, I was back from them, and I just stayed behind the camera, and he posed them, you know, touched them, did their the work that we had to do to get them photographed. And then I have a team of people that helps me with orders and stuff. So I made it through that last night, went to the doctor the next day, and then was down the rest of the week. Should have been down all week. And then this week, my daughter has had kidney stones. We have been in the hospital since Monday. We got out last night at 6 o'clock. So I have had no time in May to make a video or to get my succulent fountain done. Now these simps here, these are what came for May. And these are all Simps, and I have actually a lot that I'm going to put in here. If you remember the Sempervivum bed that I made around in one of my flower beds, and I'll put a link to that video, the sedum took over. So what I've done is pulled out the Sempervivums that were left that managed to survive after all of the sedum took over. And you can see these put on new babies prolifically, which is, and these have too. And love it. But anyway, and there's sedum that's still attached to this now, and I'm going to leave it in there and let it go. But anyway, I pulled those up, so there's some pretty large specimens of those, and I'm going to put some of them on this side and the other side too. But these really need to be planted. They've put on a lot of new roots, and they've got some air roots that's showing on them. But all I'm doing is just putting these in here. I had really good luck with this fountain last year, and here's some of the specimens that I pulled out of the Sempervivum bed that I made last year. And I'm going to pull off some of the detritus and pull off some of these bigger leaves probably when I put these in here. But we're going to go to the other side for that. So getting back to where I've been, and I'm just glad, hopefully, that we're over our illnesses. I have my voice back. I still have some drainage, but I'm surviving. But I'm glad to be able to talk. You can't make a video if you can't talk. So, you know, for 2 weeks now, since I just got my voice back really in the last 2 days, you know, there's no way you can make a video and not be able to talk. Now, you can see how these leaves have turned down. They had really gotten shaded out, and I'm surprised that they even survived. I actually had to dig around and kind of hunt for them. They have put on new babies, but they really, really, really needed to be pulled out and worked on. I could pull all of the leaves off. I'm going to leave it like this for now. If I see that this is not going to work, I'm going to take this down just to this top crown. So some of these I had ordered from Mountain Crest Gardens, and I think off of a Facebook page. And so they have been in that Sempervivum bed for a year now. And they've done really well. I'm really pleased with them, actually. I did lose a few to some rot, and basically it was because they got covered up. And all I'm doing with these is just making sure that I'm covering up the roots. And then we'll just water it in and let them go from there. Once warm weather hit, I mean, these really took off. You could see all the signs where they were putting on new babies. And this is the tray that I'm working from. These are the ones I have pulled up out of the Simp bed. And then I also have these new ones that never got potted from one of the other shipments. And this one I may have lost, but I think it'll survive. It looked bad on the back, but it's got to put on some roots. It's got a few little tiny ones. And I'm going to slip them in here in the front. And a lot of these, see all the babies and the tips on this one, I don't know what this one is called, but I think it's really pretty with the different color tips. I don't know what any of these are called. I keep all my Mountain Crest Garden papers, but they're stuck back in a folder in the cabinet, and so I'm not going to dig them out to try to figure it out right now. And all I'm doing is spacing these, because see all the new roots and the babies that are here? They're going to spread, so I'm going to leave space around them. And some of these are specimens that get pretty big. And I am trying to put some of the bigger ones, you know, space them out so that I have some small ones and some large ones. And then just making sure I cover up any roots that I can see. So the front side of the fountain faces south. So this is the north side. So this one, this side here doesn't get as much sun, as much sunlight. Gets a little bit in the morning when it's shining in from the west, but in the after this gets in shade, this side gets no light, just indirect light, and that's okay. But I learned a lot last year when I was doing this, you know, what plants can survive in the full sun of on the south side of the fountain, which ones like being on the west side, which ones like being on the east side. It really does make a difference. And basically it's just paying attention to how the plant looks. You know, is it adapting to its new home? Just like my string of pearls. Oh, it did so well in this fountain. I was just so thrilled with how that plant turned out. Now I have this huge pot. I would have never thought that I would have been able to grow such a large pot of string of pearls, because when I first started growing them, I wasn't having that much luck with them. They tended to want to rot or then dry out. Look what a root on that one. These are some of the simplest plants. You just put them in here. You don't have to do anything to take care of them much. Just make sure they have some good soil mix, and they will do all the rest. So how much faster can this be? Just taking these already rooted plants. They're not cuttings. You know, they have a good root system already. And I'm just covering up the roots. So some of these little ones. That one. So unless I've missed something, these are all the Simpz that I own. And they will fill in by the end of this summer. And I am going to actually keep these in here. I'm not going to pull them out at the end of the summer, because they and the sedum will survive the winter here, and they will do really well. And so this is the ending of part 1. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions about the Simpz and about how I'm going to take care of these, just let me know in the comments box. I hope you'll hit that subscribe and like button and the notification bell so that you'll know when I post more videos.